My name is Jasmine Brunson, and this is From the Heart, a Hoopers podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of From the Heart, a Hoopers podcast. Last week, we touched on the mental aspect of the game, playing through different pressures, different expectations that I put on myself or that I felt others put on me, just the mental side of the game of basketball. So if you have not seen that episode, you can either go back now and watch that, or you can watch it after this episode. Either way it go, just go watch that episode. In this episode, we're going to be touching on the game within a game, recruiting. What that looked like for me in high school, whether it be through my AAU journey, playing AAU travel ball, different things that I learned, different things that I wish I knew about the recruiting process, and then some of the different differences that I found between being recruited now versus when I was being recruited before I committed and went on to college in 2016. So if you have not subscribed to the official YouTube channel yet, please go do me that favor. Also, make sure you are following From the Heart of Hoopers podcast on all podcast platforms, as well as the official Instagram page at From the Heart of Hoopers podcast as well. Now that we got business handled, let's get into it. If I had to sum up my recruiting story or my recruiting journey in one word, it'll probably be a whirlwind. I would say a blessed whirlwind. That's 2 words, but yeah, I don't know. 1 minute, I literally am just a girl that loved to hoop, a girl that loved playing the game of basketball, watching the game of basketball, being around the game of basketball, to now is September 1st of junior year. And for those of you who do not know the significance of September 1st of your junior year, that's when college coaches can directly contact you as a student athlete. Prior to September 1st of your junior year, college coaches have to reach out to a coach, whether it be an AAU coach or your high school coach, a mentor, a trainer, anybody like that that's representing your parent, anybody like that. When September 1st of your junior year hits, now it's open season. They can directly text you, they can directly call you. So I went from I just let it hoop, like that was it, to now it's like it's a whirlwind. Now I'm getting on these texts, I'm getting these calls, I'm getting this mail, and it was like it was honestly such a blessing. I'm so grateful for it. It was just a complete whirlwind, because not for nothing, and it wasn't just handing out scholarships in Southside. Like, it wasn't you get a scholarship, you get a scholarship. That wasn't how it was. And then on top of that, I wasn't in environments, not say I was in bad environments or anything, but I just wasn't in environments where the college conversation was being had. My parents didn't pressure me or force me to go to college. It wasn't like you have to do this, or the people around me up until probably middle school, that wasn't the dialogue that we was having. I didn't know anybody that was in my area that got a full scholarship or a full athletic scholarship or a full academic for that matter, but I didn't know anybody in my area that did that, so that just wasn't what it was. It wasn't the precedent, it wasn't the thing to do, it wasn't the conversation. And there was a time, believe it or not, there was a time where people wasn't super free and open about speaking on things that they were not knowledgeable about. Times have changed significantly, but there was a point in time where if it wasn't your world, that wasn't your expertise, that wasn't what you were into, you didn't speak about it, you didn't try and give direction on it. Clearly, that we don't live in that time anymore. Once AAU hit, though, that's when things got real. That's when like recruiting and everything kind of intensified. Because for me, I feel like high school was more of like college coaches kind of want to see if you can win. Because when it's AAU time, it's not so much about winning. Obviously, it's different pools that you're in these tournaments and stuff like that. You want to win stuff like that. If you're on the EYBL circuit, it's nationals, all of that stuff. But the team performance is not weighed as heavily. High school season, I really just felt like that was, okay, you got to show that you can win. You can show that you can compete in this environment. But AAU was like, obviously that's when it's live periods and you're traveling for basketball and stuff like that. College coaches are coming to these gyms. You're in gyms all day. I remember we sometimes had games at 8 a.m. and then sometimes we had games at 8 p.m. all in the same day. So it was like you're in these gyms all day. that was really when you get in your name. That's when you get in your scholarships in AAU, especially travel ball. But we're going to live periods in PA for Spooky Nook. We're going to New Orleans for Battle in the Bayou. We went to Kentucky for Run for the Roses. We went to Tennessee for Battle in the Borough, I believe it was. We went to Chicago one year. That wasn't great because we wasn't an EYBL team or a Nike team, so that was different. But at this point, things seem to be going a lot more fast paced. Like things are a lot more serious. And when I say serious, it's like if I decided to screw around, I was gonna be at DCU, at Creighton University. I would not have been at no U of M. I wouldn't have been at any of those other acronyms. I would have been at DCU. So that's what I mean when I say serious. But we're doing all of this traveling. It's like you gotta hold your own. And like I said in the previous episode, it was genuinely like when we went to these other tournaments, these away tournaments, and we're traveling, these places really did not like New York teams. And I don't know if it was our demeanor. I don't know. Like I think I had a conversation with somebody before, and it was like because y'all played dirty. I just think we just play. I wouldn't say we play dirty. I just think we don't go for none of that. Like I just think it's as simple as that. We just don't. We don't go for none of that. All that. We don't go for the extra, the theatrics. We don't go for all that. But when we're going to these travel tournaments, it's already hard. The competition is already top tier. But we're going at this point. We're going against players. We're going against teams. We're going against refs. Sometimes we're going against parents. Like at sometimes, like these AAU tournaments, these away tournaments, sometimes they get like that. Like if you ever been on the circuit, or if you had a kid in the circuit, or you just know what that environment is like, those environments were intense. Them environments was lit. Like you know, you was in a really good game when like the teams that's walking around, when they come stop at your court and then they start rocking and cheering for you. Like that happened a few times when we was away. It was just like everybody just, and it was nothing, it was no ill will, it was no bad blood, it wasn't nothing crazy, it didn't escalate. It was just, these games are so intense, it's so much talent on the floor, like, everybody just going hard, repping for their side, wanting their team to win, wanting their kids to win. Like, it was a great time. It was great environments when we went away to travel, but it's still a fact these places did not like New York teams. So we going against, it's us versus everybody. Like it got like that. It really did get like that. The other side of that though is like everybody is there for the same exact reason. Every team that's there at these travel tournaments or at these away tournaments, they travel to PA, they travel to New Orleans, they travel just like your team traveled. So it's like everybody trying to get recruited. Or they travel just like my team traveled. So everybody is there trying to get recruited. Everybody is a prospect. So just picture a huge gym, like a huge gym with over 100 courts, over 100 teams. It's so many different student athletes and so many different prospects. And we was not an EYBL team, like I said in a previous episode. Like, and everybody who played on the circuit or played AU travel ball and you was not on the EYBL team, you know those EYBL games on them EYBL courts with those EYBL teams. It was like the playoffs on ABC. Like that's where a lot of people wanted to be. That's where all of like the big name college coaches. That was their first option, rightfully so. But all you need is one college coach. That's really all you need, because you as a recruit you could only go to one school. Like all of these girls, everybody that was in that gym, we could only go to one school. So yeah, you might be there to see this team or watch this player, but you're gonna need a backup plan. And if they don't commit to your school, like once you get that one, you gotta make them stay. You gotta make them stay. And if you really do your job and you really handle your business, you make them stay that game and come back to another game. And if you really did your job, they stay that game, they come back for another game, and then they come to your high school games. So you gotta do your job. So my whole mindset was like, all I need is one. Luckily, God gave me options and he gave me those student loans. So I feel like, honestly, that's a 2 for 2. Like, I can't really ask for much more. In hindsight, though, there were a couple things that I wish I knew about recruiting while I was going through it. Like, for a fact, it was 3 significant things that I wish I knew about recruiting while I was going through it. The first thing that I really wish I knew and wish I took more heed to was the fact that this is a business. Like college basketball, recruiting, all of it, it is a business. So the way that these college coaches are shopping around, searching for the top talent and players, as a student athlete, you're also shopping for a school. It doesn't matter as good as you may think you are. It doesn't matter any of that. You only can go or commit to one school at a time. So while I knew that, I wasn't thinking any deeper than that. It was just, okay, like I knew I only could go to one school. I only need one coach, honestly, to give me a scholarship. But I wasn't thinking about, okay, what do these coaches have to do to cover their behinds, right? Like, of course, they're going to be selling a dream to all of these different players and student athletes. And so I thought everything that I was being told was genuine. I got caught up in the bells and whistles, different things that people was telling me. And sometimes that's not always the case, right? And unfortunately, there's no test run that you can do. There's no, let me just get a free year to see if what these coaches were saying during my recruitment align with what they're saying now that I'm actually on campus and at the school. But it's a risk. It's really a risk that you take because the main thing is these coaches are hired to win. Point blank period. They are hired to win. That's their livelihood. So they're going to get talent and recruits and people and student athletes that align with winning. They're gonna go out and get girls that know how to win, that want to win, that are willing to do what it takes to win. That's the reality of the situation. And as student athletes, you want to go to winning programs. You want to go to good coaches. You want to go to good programs. Like it's a give and take. Honestly, it's a give and take. But it is, at the end of the day, it is a business. A college coach's livelihood is winning. You have to win or you're out of there. That's the main thing. That's the reality of it. But I was not taking as much heed to that. So I'm thinking, again, like I said, everything is genuine. Everything is, everything is real, but that's not always the case. And sometimes it does come at the expense of the student athlete. So if you commit to a school, at least like in 2016 through 2020, the only options you really had, if it truly was not a good fit for you, you either could transfer or you're gonna waste away for 4 years. That was pretty much that. And then back then there was no such thing as a transfer portal. There was no, you can transfer and then you're gonna play immediately that following year. It was none of that. Like if you did transfer, you had to sit out that year, that following year. There was different regulations and different rules around transferring. It wasn't as easy, as simple, or anything like that to transfer. I contemplated, fun fact, not so fun, I contemplated transferring one time, and that's the only reason I know that. That is honestly and truly the only reason I know that. Because I didn't feel like, at a point, I did not feel like the school that I committed to was truly the best fit for me. But then, like I said, either you can transfer, you can waste away for 4 years, or in some cases, they do a whole coaching change and then boom, different experience. The second thing I wish I knew, like really wish I knew, is to fully maximize your visits. Fully maximize your visits. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, I am an introvert. I love to joke around, I love to laugh, I love to play, all of that stuff, but you only find that out about me when you meet me. Like, or if there's some type of camaraderie there. Other than that, you're probably not going to know that about me, but I am such an introvert. And so when you're on these visits, specifically an official visit, you are busy the entire day. And for those of you who don't know about visits and recruiting and any of that, there's an official visit and then there's unofficial visits. Recruits get 5, or at least around the time that I was being recruited, you get 5 official visits. Now, an official visit is when, depending on where the school is, they fly you out, they put you in a nice hotel, they lay out the red carpet for you. And they treat you like a star, like you're the most important thing, and like they need you at their school. And it's an experience. Like, it is an experience. Everything is literally tailored to you, all the way down to what snacks you like in your hotel room. That's an official visit, and you're meeting everybody from the athletic director to the dean of the school. And an unofficial visit is the same, well, it's similar in a sense of like you're meeting these different people, you get to interact with the team, but you find your own travel to the school. It's typically only for a day. Official visits are for like a weekend or 2 to 3 days. Unofficial visit is not like that. It's not as intricate. They're not laying out the red carpet for you. You're kind of like I would say an unofficial visit is kind of like, we're happy you're here, like you came and took time out. Um, but you're kind of like just hanging around. It's not completely tailored to you, right? So official visits, you're going from meeting this person to this person to this person, from start to finish. Like it's a bunch of activities, essentially not crammed, but it's fit into essentially one full day. Like, so typically the structure of majority or pretty much all of my visits, I went on the weekend. So I'll probably get there Friday at some time, meet up with people, or meet with like the coaches a little bit, talk to them, go to sleep. Saturday, a full day of everything. And then Sunday, you probably do like breakfast with the staff, and then you go home. So it's a lot of activities crammed in on one specific day. Now, I was the type of student athletes that loved official visits. However, I definitely did not ask the right questions. I don't think I was always, not all the time, but I don't think I was always paying attention to the right thing. I wasn't paying attention to maybe things that I would be paying attention to now, or as somebody who mentors younger kids or younger players, stuff that I would tell them now, stuff that I tell them now is not fully the things that I did, especially on visits. So my favorite visit or my favorite experience on a visit was my favorite experience on a visit for all of the wrong reasons. I wasn't paying attention to how the players interacted with the coaches when I'm not in a specific area with them, right? I wasn't paying attention to how the players spoke on their coaching staff and just the experience at the school in general when it was just us hanging around and just chilling. There was no coaches, there was no staff, it was no nothing. I wasn't really taking too much heed to that. It was just like, I'm happy to be here. Y'all cool. Like anything I want, I can pretty much ask for right now. It's just a whole different experience. I didn't ask questions like that would have anything to do with post college. Like, okay, I wasn't worried about post college. I wasn't worried about, okay, what if I want to get into this while I'm there? What if I want to get into that? What if I don't want to keep dribbling a basketball after college? What is in place for me to be successful post college outside of athletics, outside of sports? That's not the type of stuff that I was paying attention to, but now in hindsight, definitely things that I wish I would have paid attention to during my recruiting journey. It's really just about getting as much information as you can to make the most informed decision that you possibly can, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be at this school for 4 years. And especially around the time that I was being recruited, like my coaches or my coach, my high school AU coach, value like sticking it out at a school unless it's like truly not benefiting you and it's truly not working for you. So like the pride in being able to say, okay, I went to this school for all 4 years and I graduated from this school and I just stuck it out, like that was what I was going for. That's at least what I valued. So being able to get as much information as I can to make the most informed decision possible, and to set myself up for the most success, or to set yourself up for the most success, that's the main thing at the end of the day. The last thing that I wish I knew is, or took heed to, is go where you are genuinely wanted. Go where you are genuinely wanted. I cannot stress that enough. Like, and it's not being genuinely wanted by a program or a school or coaches. It's not something that you could just flip a switch on. Like it's not something that's going to be sometimesy. Like it's genuinely a feeling, because you can feel when you're not wanted somewhere. You could feel when you're no longer wanted somewhere, right? So that's with anything in life. Like that's honestly with anything. It's no different when it comes to committing to a school, comes to playing college athletics, anything. Like you can feel when you are either no longer wanted or you're not genuinely wanted. And I think it says a lot about, a coach that is recruiting you since maybe say your freshman year versus coaches that just kind of came on maybe more towards your junior or senior year. Like it says a lot about the coach that has been recruiting you since freshman year, that still shows up to your games, that's still texting you, that's still calling you, that's still interested in whatever you got going on. Like it says a lot for them to be super consistent with you. And I didn't place a ton of value on that. Like I knew I never wanted to disrespect any of these coaches. I always wanted to openly communicate with them about what's on my mind, what I had going on, what I was thinking, if I wasn't interested in their school. You know, I never wanted to burn a bridge there. However, I just didn't place that much importance on, okay, well, when did they start recruiting me and how communicative and all of that stuff. Like, yeah, I paid attention to it. People around me paid attention to it. But I was just more so like, okay, I'm getting looks. Like, I don't care when it comes, like when it happens, but I'm getting looks. That means I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. But it does say a lot. In my opinion, you do not have to agree. But in my opinion, it says a lot about the coaches that come on early and stick around. And nothing against the coaches that come on later, but it says a lot about the consistency of the coaches that come in early and then stick around versus the ones that, you know, kind of come in afterwards. And I will say that, like, that aspect of it is two-sided, right? That is two-sided. Being consistent is two-sided. Like, it's not just on the college coaches to constantly reach out to you. Like, at some point you have to show some type of indication that you are just as interested, or you're even open to entertaining it, or you're open to the conversations of exploring it. It's a two-way street. It's definitely a two-way street, so I will say that. But as a student athlete, it's just the consistency of coaches and the consistency of your recruiting, I feel, is very, very, very important, and you should take at least a little bit of heed to that. It's like the words of it, all of that, it may sound great, but do you still come to watch me play? Do you check on me? Do you text me? Are you still coming to my games after 2 years of recruiting me? Are you streaming my games? Like, I've been around college coaches that, like, really are dedicated to their job. Like, they could be at home or they can be out and about and they're still watching or streaming a game from a girl overseas that they want to give a scholarship to, and they're thinking about recruiting. Like, I've been around college coaches that they're calling their recruits, like having real genuine conversations with them and really tapped into what it is that they're doing and being very consistent with it. And it don't matter what time of the day, whatever the case is, like, you got to work around different time differences. If you're recruiting out of the country, if you're recruiting in the country, like, you're working around different schedules, and that stuff matters. It definitely matters. And it matters to me, or it matters a lot more in hindsight than it did when I was actually going through it, but that stuff matters. All in all, though, it really comes down to you being able to handle your business, whether it be handling your business in the classroom, handling your business on the court. Really, it just comes down to handling your business as a student athlete and taking that title, taking that position, taking that blessing, taking that opportunity seriously, and locking in the classroom, locking in when it comes to the court, doing your due diligence when it comes to, these schools and these universities, doing, just like I said, getting all of the necessary information and doing your due diligence, because you have to go through those 4 years. You have to go through those 4 years. And as much as we may talk about the transfer portal now in present day and how prevalent that has been, I'm sure it's not easy to transfer. It's not easy to relearn systems. It's not easy to go from one school in this part of the country to this school in this part of the country. Like, I don't think anybody goes into their first year of their experience with college thinking, like, okay, I want to transfer. I want to get the full college experience. Like, I don't think anybody goes into it that way. Sometimes things just don't work out. But you have to do your part, and you have to understand and know that you're gonna feel when a school wants you. You're gonna feel when coaches want you. You're gonna feel when a program and when a fit is right for you. So trust in yourself. Anything, like, go where you want it and trust in yourself. With all that said, though, I would classify my recruiting journey, story, just my whole recruitment, as a blessing and a lesson. I truly did enjoy my recruiting process. I enjoyed getting to meet all of the great people that I got to meet. I enjoyed getting to interact with these different college coaches and meet them and interact and build some type of relationship with them. I enjoyed going to these different schools and seeing what they had to offer. I really did enjoy it. And then on top of that, as a teenager, as a student athlete, you feel wild and important. Like, that's probably one of the times that you're probably feel the most important, because you have a bunch, if depending on what kind of recruit you are. I was lucky enough to have a number of different college coaches and a number of different programs that wanted me. So it was like, you feel like, okay, dang, like, I'm working hard, but it's like, now I kind of get to see the results of that. So it was definitely, it was a blessing, and I learned so much, like so many things I took away, and it was a time. As always, thank you for tapping in with me for this episode of From the Heart of Hoopers podcast. Please make sure you are subscribed to the official YouTube channel at From the Heart of Hoopers podcast, as well as the official Instagram page at From the Heart of Hoopers podcast, as well as following the podcast on all podcast platforms. So whether you want to watch the episode or just listen to the episode, it's on every platform. It's on every platform. You can't miss it. So with that, I will see you guys next week.